All right. Let's see if we get this started. Oh, there you are.
Hello. Sorry for the wait.
Yeah. All good, though. Dylan, let me see what you said real quick. AH64 or the CH53K? Let me write that down. I'll probably forget it. We're just showing off the different designs I've done.
Sweet. I did the Raptor one just now. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I might print that one out.
Nice.
The CH53. I was thinking about the CH50. It's pretty nice. The tail rotor is kind of tilted out a little bit.
Yeah, I really like that design.
Yeah.
Really neat.
All right. So everyone, welcome to another episode of the Spotters Podcast. This is episode 26. I'm your host, and my guest today is a student pilot, fighter jet chaser, adventure seeker, and film photographer. You may know him as Crispy Took the Shot, but his name is Marcus Pinnock.
Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Man, it's fun having you on here. I don't think I've met you. Have I met you at Sun and Phone?
Not at Sun and Fun, but I did meet you at Stewart.
At Stewart. Okay, that's right. So I don't meet everyone. I wish I could. It'd be great to get the names and the faces together. So I do this, and hopefully we, get to know each other a little better. Everyone gets to know you a little better, and learn something. Learn about you a little bit. So let's start it off with tell me how you got into aviation.
All right. So it was like a day one thing. So both of my parents are in the Navy. At this time, they were stationed in Rota, Spain, where I was born. And then they were both transferred to NAS Woodby, where we stayed for a couple years, where I went through my toddler years, where I can still remember stuff. And my dad took me to a Prowler hangar and sat me in the cockpit. And that's like one of my core memories, I'll never forget that. It stuck like glue. And here I am now.
That is awesome, man. And I thank them for their service. Pretty amazing. So your dad got you into aviation, photography. Your mom was a pilot also?
No, she was intelligence warfare. So she stood up with Prowlers a lot. And then it got back and forth between them, Navy SEALs, and then it went to the E6 intelligence community, and now it's on to NIOC. So that's basically going to be more intelligence stuff, specifically cyber warfare. And she was just recently transferred to go on to essentially maintaining the mental and physical health of Navy student pilots.
Oh yeah, they're badasses, man.
Yeah, they've been in for a very long time.
That is awesome. That's amazing. What drew you to shooting film for aviation?
So that was mainly Casey. You may know him as At Defense 111. Great guy. Love him. I saw his photos and I'm like, wow, what a cool look into the past. And as I'm looking around in our community, I just don't see film like that at all. And so I was like, you know what, let me try this out, and I did it. I still love it, and it stuck like glue. So that's where that came from.
Awesome. How long have you been shooting with film?
I think I've been shooting film for almost a year now.
Okay.
Probably a year. I think I started in June of last year, maybe. I'd have to go back and look. It's been a little while.
And what's the camera and lens setup for that?
So the old setup was actually this right here. It was a Minolta Alpha Suite 2. Great
Nice.
camera, made in 2001. It served me up until Stewart, actually, the day that I had arrived into Tampa, flying on silver. Rip. The gears inside of this camera sheared out and broke.
Wow.
And it does make sense. It's from 2001. The gears are made of plastic. So I did end up having to go a little bit older. So I got the Alpha Suite 1 instead. Here it is with a 75 through 300.
Okay.
It's almost the same as the Suite 2. It is missing a few features here and there since it's an older model, but it's held up well, and I do plan on upgrading again because that Alpha Suite 1, it is great, but with the Alpha Suite 2, I'm able to have a 600 millimeter lens on that camera, and I really enjoyed having that really far reach, especially with film. It does show with true colors whenever you get those photos back.
Now, is that camera like an autofocus kind of deal with the lens?
It is. Yeah, I do use autofocus only with the film. I know that might be like shunned upon because I'm not going in manual with everything, but when it comes to the stuff that I'm shooting with, I just don't want to take that risk, especially with how expensive film is, you
Yeah.
know. I think the cheapest roll for expired film I found in my area was $9, and that's only like a dollar or two off from non-expired film, let's say like Fujifilm, for example. So I just don't see the value in potentially missing a shot.
Yeah, I looked up some of that Porta film that you had posted in your stories, and the Cine Still, the 400. Those are like almost $20 a roll.
Yeah, they are really expensive. I do want to shoot those rolls. I will one day, but it's just a cost and a price thing, you know. I'm
Yeah.
sure whenever these final A10s come to rest, I'll definitely go all out. I'll get the portrait. I'll get the sign still. You know, I'll make it look good. But until then, you know, I'll keep the expensive film at bay.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe you'll have one. Maybe you'll have one, and then you'll have to plan an actual shoot to be able to use it.
Yeah,
So,
that'd be really nice.
how was the Pensacola Air Show?
It was really good. I wasn't able to stay for the entire thing because I did have to leave halfway through to get back to work. But it was good. It was a lot of fun. A lot of fun with my friends who was there. There was a lot of people there. We had Joseph, Brent, Katie. Yeah, we had a lot of people there. It was a lot of fun.
Dude, that beach looked packed.
Oh, it is. It's only getting worse. I do wish that it was more relaxed like Miami and Panama City, where you can get in the water during the displays. I do understand why we can't, because it's a liability, but at the same time, it just seems kind of silly whenever you go to literally any other beach show and you see people having fun in the water and all that stuff. At the end of the day, you know, the jets are flying, you're having a good time.
Yeah, I mean, I think I did see a photo where there was people in the water. I mean, not deep, but they were like ankle deep, knee deep.
Yeah, they'll only let you go ankle. Anything more than that, the lifeguards will get on you for it. It's a whole thing.
Yeah, I mean that sneak pass was what, 50 feet off the water?
Yeah, it was ridiculous. I want to say the very first one of the week for the breakfast show, that was easily the lowest I've ever seen ever for any show. That was incredible. Zimmerman was really cooking with it, and he did tear off the 2x4 off of that flag.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Warthog images. Yeah, we put a prompt in channel a few days ago. Warthog images said, was asking how hard it was to develop film. Do you do any film developing?
I don't yet. I do plan on turning part of my house into a darkroom so I can do that myself, because as much as I love film, development for third party is pretty expensive. I'd say it's just as much, if not more, as when you're buying the roll. So if I'm buying a $12 roll of film, it'll probably be just as much, if not a bit more, just to get it developed.
Yeah, that's something I never did. I posted something last week about film, and I shot film back in 2004, I think it was. Man, it was, and back then, I mean, I think I was shooting with like a Canon EOS. It was some, I bought it from a pawn shop, and I bought like a pretty simple 300 millimeter lens also, and half of my shots are all blurred. I mean, I had it's like, how is this possible? It was autofocus also, and I thought, hey, it looked good in the viewfinder, maybe it'll look good when it comes out, but you don't really. It's almost like we take things for granted with our digital cameras. We get set the white balance on it. We get set, the f-stop. We know we have that light meter in there. When you're shooting with film, do you have any type of kind of restrictions, or how do you meter the light when you have like blue clouds or blue skies and smoke coming out of the planes?
There's definitely a lot of restrictions when it comes to that kind of stuff. I mainly base my restrictions off of the kind of film that I'm shooting, because they all act differently, to colors, to light. But I mainly pay attention to the colors. I'm not too worried about the light portion. I guess I should be, though, because the glider demo for Sun and Fun this year, that really showed me that colors and light can do a lot. Since that aircraft was so small and the sky was so blue, the photo is almost unrecognizable. It's mainly just dark blue. And then you'll have stuff like, the F-16 demo, where there's a lot more colors on that jet. a lot more light reflecting off of it. Now you can see it a lot better
Yeah.
compared to other stuff. So I mainly based it off of the film, because that limits you for your ISO, and also the way the colors will be developed. Are the shadows heavy? Are they light? Is the photo warm? Is it purple hue or green hue? Stuff like that.
It's been 20 years for me since I shot film, but you're putting ISO 400 film on there. Do you still turn the dial on the camera to ISO 400, or do you try to play around with it and try to increase it a bit or decrease it?
Yeah, that's a really good question, actually. Film cameras now, I should say. When you have a roll of film, you'll have this silver right here. It's going to be different for each brand. This is Kodak Ultramax 400. So these aluminum lines right here is basically like a QR code for your camera to read what kind of film it is. So it automatically set that ISO for you. So that way you're not, undercooking or overcooking your film. But on older cameras, it's definitely important to set it to your needs, because I do think that if you shot a lower ISO film with a high ISO setting, you'd probably overcook everything.
Did you ever try kind of any fun effects, double exposures, or
I have tried one of those. I'm holding on to a roll of double exposures right now. I'm probably gonna re-roll it and try a triple and see how that goes.
Hell yeah!
But I think I might actually just buy an older camera so I can try some static double exposures, see what I can do with that in a more controlled environment. Yeah. I'd rather not lose 3 or 4 photos at an air show just because I'm trying to try something I haven't tried yet.
Yeah, I do that in my digital camera, but it's so much easier because you could see what you're gonna overlay.
Everything with film, it's like Christmas all over again. You don't know what you're gonna get here and there, and you get excited. Every time I get that email, like, oh my gosh, my film is coming back. I can't wait to see what I get, and it's just reliving all those memories. I think that's what it's all about.
Yeah, for sure. Is it are you going to a specialized film developer? Or are you doing like Costco or? Well, I don't think Costco does film development.
No, I actually go to Gulf Coast Camera. Shout out them. I love those guys. They've been supporting my film since the start. I've always gone to them to purchase my film and get it developed. They've been nothing but kind to me for all that I've done. And I couldn't thank them enough for supporting the Gulf Coast. Easily the best camera store I know in the entire state. Granted, maybe even like the whole East Coast, to be honest. I can't think of anything better other than, somewhere in California.
B&H probably does film developing.
Maybe. I'll have to give it a look.
Yeah. So we've kind of gone over some of the challenges with the lighting, with digital and film. Do you find any other challenges for capturing aviation?
When it comes to the film, it taught me how to stay calm and be patient. Before I started film, I was on digital, so I had no quarrels with missing a shot because, I can just hold down the shutter the entire time and fill out an SD card and it'll be just fine. But now that I'm on film and you're so limited with everything, especially how many shots you can take, you really start to slow down and wait for that perfect moment. So it made me learn patience and be appreciative of where I am when it comes to positioning and lighting and all that stuff. And one of my biggest challenges for photography as a whole, it's definitely going to be panning. I suck at panning. I'm terrible at panning. And I know it's like,
I'm right.
Oh, just keep doing it. It's like a muscle memory thing. Sure. But I just can't do it for the life of me. I do have a couple shots here and there where it's like, wow, that was a pretty low shutter. But panning is just not my thing. And for those who do it, I am very envious. It looks awesome every time. I wish I could do what you guys do.
And I wish I went to Cocoa Beach Air Show this past weekend, and I've gone to 3 air shows this year, and I've talked to a bunch of people, and I'm like, okay, you know what, let me try video, let me see how this goes. And I ruined 2 shows trying to do video and photos, and then I was like, okay, well, let me drop the shutter a little bit so I can get a full disc, a full rotor at the Miami Beach Air Show. I did it, but all the photos are not crisp. So I'm like, shit, man, I've ruined three air shows this year. So today, I went to Cocoa Beach and I was like, okay, I'm dropping it to 2/50th of a second. I'm not going to risk it. I'm just going to try to get crisp shots and stick with it, and it did a little bit. It's kind of a little backlit over there, um, but it was nice not to have like 1,000 blurry photos.
Yeah.
And just like, okay, now I have to calm down a bit, focus on, like, refocus what I was gonna do. So I tried video, man. I just don't have, well, I don't have the computer, speed for it. I don't have the it's just it's such an uphill climb,
Yeah.
having to just change everything and going back to that. But I think I'm gonna just stick with photos and be like, okay, the other people that are excel in video, props to them, man. Kyle Preston is a master of video.
Preston's incredible.
It's incredible, man. I can't. I'm not even trying to compete.
Yeah.
I'm just dipping my toes in the pool there, and I'm just like, man, I can't. It's too cold.
Yeah. I had the pleasure of meeting him at Homecoming 2024, and then I saw him at Stewart last year as well. And that was just like, wow, this guy he's at the top of the league. Like he's like the person you're going to look up to be like, wow, now that is video.
Yeah, man, the story there, the footage that he comes up with, just like his mind is video. Everything he's thinking about is like, how can I get this shot? How can I just talk through it and get the all the footage? I have so much footage from Sun and Fun, so many interviews. I have so many interviews from the Blue Angels when they were in Fort Lauderdale, and I'm like, I don't even know how to tie these together. What do I do here? I feel like a little bit of a waste. I'm sure I'll come up to something with the end of the year after all the shows.
Right.
It's not a lot. So how do you stay inspired with film? Do you just take aviation, or have you tried out like motorsports, some rolling shots, or?
I've done any automotive film yet. I do plan on it. Hopefully, actually, no, that's a lie. I did automotive last year at Slams Enough Destin. I just haven't posted them. They weren't very good, but this year I'll come back. I'll do myself better, and hopefully I can keep doing more automotive stuff. I do want to do some drift stuff with film. Hopefully I can make that happen this year. If not, it'll be next year.
Awesome.
Yeah, I haven't done a whole lot of film stuff outside of aviation. I think I've done just that. And I did like one modeling gig, and that was about it.
All right. Yeah, I did see you had some portraits on your feed there, and yeah, you have portraits. You have some close-up, like, macro shots. I think I saw like one or two astro photos. That star shot you have with the stars, kind of like, I think you're zooming out. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that was it was essentially a dolly zoom. It was completely accidental. The lens that I was using wouldn't stay in place. I just left it, and it was a happy little accident. It turned out great, and I really like what I got from it.
Yeah, nice. Are you working on any other projects or collaborations?
Not yet. Hopefully soon. Hopefully soon.
Nothing you get to talk about?
Actually, there is one thing. I do want to do a little project with the Blue Angels, specifically the enlisted personnel. I really resonate with them since those are the kind of people I grew up with parents in the Navy. Whenever I'm out of daycare when I was a kid, I'd be at their jobs, and my parents' personnel would be taking care of me. So it kind of feels like home again, just being around people who I grew up with, or people who are like-minded like I am in that sense. And so I just want to be able to capture just little moments of their lives, whether that be at like a baseball game or out on the flight line, just stuff like that.
That's cool. Yeah, that'd be cool. Give back to the squadron that way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is there any classic aviation or Blue Angels photographers that you look up to and that you kind of get a little inspiration from them? Or
I would totally say Craig. RJ has been a huge inspiration for me since day one. He's such a great guy, and he's one of those first few people when I was first starting out, like less than 300 followers. I'd slide up on a story, say something, and he'd actually reply back. And I'm like, wow, this guy's a real person. That's so cool. But he's an amazing photographer, and I look up to him a lot. I'd want to say Heather on the water photography Navarre. She's been an awesome help to me as well. She taught me how to lower my shutter and really lock in for some of those photos. So that helped a lot.
Yeah, Heather's awesome. She was at the Miami Beach Air Show. She was doing media also. I met her out there, and she's a awesome person to talk to. Super easy to talk to.
Yeah,
has a lot of knowledge. She's actually right now in across the pond chasing jets.
Yeah,
in the mock loop.
She's in the mock loop right now. Yeah,
man.
I'm so jealous of that. One day.
Yeah, that's like a bucket list location for me. I mean, she's. Did you see her? Did you see her story? She was like on the mountain. She was the only one. She was the only one there.
Yeah, I saw that.
Man,
it's really cool. I could spend days at the mock loop, just going to other sides of the mountain and stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't even know what the altitude climbing up that thing is, but I mean, it was like, it looked like it was raining. It was, you know, it could probably be a slippery mountain slide. Holy cow, man!
Yeah,
it's just incredible.
It can get pretty muddy up there.
Is there? Are you gonna do Stewart this year? Or are you thinking about doing any other shows?
I'm just going to do Homecoming this year. For this year, Homecoming and Stewart are on the same days, and I'd rather just stay here than have to travel again. So I'll just hunker down for that. I will probably try and do their practice shows. I do want to capture that from the air traffic control tower. I know I've posted the Blues from that position so many times, but I'm more excited for the S-22 demo. I think it's going to be pretty cool, especially for that MRT followed by the, what's it called, the square loop. I'm excited for that. It's probably not going to be as low as the Blues, obviously, but just that perspective, it changes everything. That's got to be like one of, if not the best places I've ever been.
That's awesome. The last time I did a Homecoming for the Blues was like 2015, I think. So I definitely want to go back out there just to spend a day at the museum. We did one of the buildings. We missed the other building because the show was going to start. But, you know, I ran around. After the show, I went to go see that fort that's right there and try to get to the lighthouse. You know, I got called by military police because it was like the, what's that? It's like a bugle at 5 p.m. or something.
Oh, yeah. That's colors.
Yeah. So the bugle was coming, you know, going on, and he's like, "Sir, you need to stop right now and salute." And I was like, I'm not military, dude. But I was like, which way's the flag at? You know, and I'll, you know,
right.
It was just, he's like, "What are you doing? We're closed." I'm like, "I just got to get to see this lighthouse real quick," you know. And he's like, "All right, finish up and get out of here." So
yeah.
definitely want to go back and actually spend some time, go to Fort Pickens. You know, just spend more time there. I was really thinking about taking off Friday and driving from here to Pensacola. It's like a 10-hour drive. And then after the show, after the practice, driving to Cocoa Beach, which is like 8 hours. And I thought, man, this is going to be an insane weekend. And I didn't want to push it. You know, I didn't want to
that's a lot of driving.
Burn the candle at both ends, you know. So I stuck it. And I just kind of stayed at Cocoa Beach. It was cool. It was a nice, chill show. The F-22 was there, the 920th Rescue Squadron. That's their home show. You know, a biplane and a super decathlon flying around. So it's pretty chill. So not that much. We had the Altus C-17 and the KC-135 demo. And then
it's always
it's cool. I mean, I was just telling a buddy of mine, it's like, man, I really want to see an actual demo. Like, I want to have the C-17 come by, drop out a container, the Growler demo. Thanks, Jedi. Drop a container out the back, you know, like have it hit the water, turn into a raft, people like jumping into the raft, you know. Like, I want the full demo. I'm okay with these planes passing by, but we've seen these demos every year, you know.
Yeah.
Got to switch it up a little bit. Uh-oh, Cooper's on.
There it is.
Cooper Thorne has joined the chat.
Growler demo. That's a really good one. I saw them for the first time at Sun and Fun. That was super cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that was...
First time seeing a two-ship demo. It reminds me of the French Mirage 2000 demo. They've got one pretty similar. It's almost the exact same. You know, it's a left-hand circuit. And if one's different, it'll be right-hand circuit, but it's a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean, we were spoiled with the Sun and Fun. We got a full demo, and then we got a night demo.
Yeah.
The sun was just perfect for those shots, man.
Yeah.
And then you had the Korean War Hero went up there in the F4 Corsair to fly rollers. So, yeah. Are you going to do Oshkosh?
No, maybe next year. If not that, the year after.
Oshkosh is like Sun and Fun on like a case of Red Bull or something.
Yeah, everyone's been asking me about going to Oshkosh. I'm like, not this year, not this year.
Yeah, that's another thing I looked into. Is like, okay, how much is where do I fly into? I didn't know.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I'll pick Duluth as a spot, and all I know of Duluth is freaking jeans. So it's like $550 to fly into Duluth, and I was like, holy cow, man, how much are freaking what's the hotels looking like? And it's like Miami prices.
Yeah, I'm sure it's booked out for years to come.
For sure. Mark says, don't count on sleeping much when you're at Oshkosh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe next year when I plan it better, I'll go out to Oshkosh. Sun and Fun was amazing. I was there for only 3 days. And after the show on Saturday, I pretty much drove home. And I was just like, I was dead on the drive home, you know?
Yeah, I was there for the entire week.
Oh, man.
It's crazy.
You were camping out?
I was, yeah.
Yeah, man. I guess that's the way to do it.
Yeah, camping is awesome. I mean, there's nothing like it.
Yeah.
Other than Oshkosh, of course, but, you know. Yeah.
Cooper says he'll throw you in his carry-on.
Let's do it, man. I'll be there.
Awesome. All right, let's see what else. What other questions that we get asked here? JJW Photography, 1990. He was on earlier. He was that's Jacob. He lives in Palm Beach. He works for Pratt and Whitney as an engineer. He had asked any Lightroom edit recommendations to imitate a film look.
Oh, okay. So I'd say the first thing that people don't do very well when it comes to editing photos to look like film is grain. You need a lot more than you think. You just do. Not every film photo is going to be 100% smooth, 100% sharp. And speaking of sharpness, whenever you do film and digital, you realize very quickly that film sharpness is sharp in a very different way compared to digital. And it's really interesting since, this is a physical media. So whenever you're seeing something, it's not just pixels. It's like the real deal. When it comes to looking at it through the roll and stuff like that, obviously when it goes on screen to a digital platform, it's going to be different. But I'd say tone down your sharpness, add more grain than you think, and also research what kind of film you want to imitate because of the hues and the warmth and other stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, this technically is physical media too, right? I mean, I could put this on my camera and it's physically getting put in there, but yeah,
that's true.
It's not the negative versus digital, raw is completely different. Yeah, Cooper is mentioning here that there is presets for the film and vintage, but I've tried it and there's not enough grain. You have to increase the texture on there.
There really isn't enough grain. I'd say you just gotta look at a film photo and just eyeball it because, like I said, you're gonna need more than you think. Unless it's a perfectly taken photo, the ISO is correct, the white balance, the shutter, all that stuff. Unless everything's perfect, it's not going to be the way you think.
Yeah. Let's see. And let's see. Yoast Aviation. I haven't seen her post any photos other than portraits that she's been doing. She asked, where do you find film cheap?
I get the cheapest stuff from my local store, Gulf Coast Camera. I'll just get expired film from them if I want to go as cheap as possible. But other than that, you could probably try and do Facebook Marketplace, try and find something pretty lucrative there, especially when people, want to get rid of a lot of stuff. They'll let it go for pretty cheap. So
all right,
it's really just look anywhere you can. Maybe an Amazon day or whatever, their flash sales can help sometimes.
Yeah. Do you think, I think there is a camera store down here, and I think I've seen them sell expired film, but I'm not sure how much they cost. I know a lot more people are buying newer film. We have two shops down here. So Pitman Camera is one shop, and they have a bunch I had sent you that photo of like just the whole wall full of film.
Yeah.
And then the other one is Southern Photo Technical Service, where they do sell some film, but they're more of a repair center. So they might have older cameras. I was looking at this like top-down viewfinder camera, and I'm like, what am I gonna do with that?
Yeah.
That's I always think about something cool to do. Maybe take a photo on like a glass slide or something, and like, what's the chances of that being sharp? When it's a plane in flight. So
Yeah. Stuff like that. I just wouldn't bother with it. That's why I just do 35 millimeter and on auto settings and all that stuff because I just want the sharp photo.
yeah,
But I think maybe one day I'll get a 4x5 or like 120 millimeter and just do statics because there's no way I'm getting a sharp photo of a plane in flight.
yeah, that'd be cool for like museums or something. That the lighting is already kind of set. You know what the lighting is going to be,
Yeah.
and if it's a long exposure, you can get people walking by, and it doesn't look like it's too crowded.
Yeah, it's true.
Like something at the Smithsonian would probably be a cool museum, or what's that one that's in Virginia? Um, Hazy, something like that. I don't know the name of it.
Yeah, I wouldn't know either.
Any tips for someone that wants to start doing film?
I would say start on Fujifilm 200. I think that's going to be the most forgiving film. And then just do your research, Film cameras are not what they used to be. They get worse and worse with the age, No one's going to make a new one. I wish. But this is the reality we live in. So just do your research. And if you're already shooting on a certain brand, you should probably stick with that brand. That's why I got with Minolta, just because, Sony bought them out. So they use the same DSLR lenses as well. So that helps save money a lot.
Have you looked at the Leica film cameras?
I have. I've done a lot of research on Leica. There's no point in getting them because Leica is it's a state of mind. I think they lost their relevance, honestly, after World War II. They were more famous in World Wars because of certain lens techniques when it came to mirrors bouncing off in certain ways, when it came to the viewfinder and the lens and all that stuff. I think all of their prowess did fall off after World War II, just since every other company could do the same thing just as good, if not better.
That is one thing. When I was talking about you joining the podcast, that is one thing we kind of touched on a little bit, was the film photography during the World War II and into Vietnam. There was that Kodak,
Aerochrome.
What was it?
Aer-
Aerochrome. Have you seen any of that in your travels? Have you actually, like, in the museums or anything?
I wish I have, but that stuff is long expired and it is incredibly expensive. Like, we're talking hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. It is super rare. I would love to shoot it one day, but until I'm a millionaire, you're not going to see me with it.
I mean, do you have to have an infrared camera, or can it just be, you can just put that in any camera and it should work?
I do believe it can go in any camera. There are some infrared digital cameras where you can put an infrared slide across the sensor, which would give you the same effects as Aerochrome because everything is basically in a red and green format, you could say.
Yeah, I'm looking at that.
Yeah,
I'm on Analog Cafe right now, and they're saying, they're looking at $250 a roll, or $10 per frame. Craziness. And I don't even think they're selling it. They're just showing pictures of it. It is a pretty funky little infrared for sure.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Right on, man. All right, what else do we got? Any questions for me on this side? Do we have any questions in the in this chat that we're looking at?
Do you think you'll ever pick up film again?
Man, I would want to, but honestly, I have too many hobbies. Yeah. I don't need another one. It's hard enough
that's
to
understandable.
Say again.
That's understandable.
Yeah, man, it's hard enough to kind of focus on the 12 that I have. So for me to pick up a 13th, I don't know. There's now and then I see your photos, and I see a few other people doing film, and I'm like, maybe I want to get back into it. But aviation, I wouldn't do it for aviation, unless I go to a museum or if it's like a static. But
Right.
trying to shoot jets in motion again, that's just too hard,
Yeah.
Too many variables in there. I'd rather have kind of like a wide format camera,
Yeah.
or maybe do a panoramic specialized camera and do more long exposure shots. I think that's kind of what and that would be so obscure, what's the odds of that taking off, Mark, we did talk about developing, and Marcus here is trying to convert a room in his house to do processing. Do you have any equipment for that yet?
Nope. I'm just building up a list, just getting ready for the moment that I can finally, put it together and start working on that.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you could find like the bins and stuff at the dollar store. You could probably get some things that are inexpensive. You could get them cheap.
Yeah.
What's going to cost you a lot is the chemicals.
Yeah, definitely.
And you got to have ventilation in there, man, because you don't want to be breathing that in. I know a few photographers that do develop, they have it in like a bathroom in their garage or something, so they could vent it out. Yeah.
It's gonna be a long process, but hopefully I can get that done.
Yeah, that'd be cool, man. That way you could, I always kind of envy those people that shot film and that were able to develop it themselves, because the says, oh, come on, the smells are half the fun.
That's all part of it.
So just being able to actually see that in like that photo come through and have it at a size that's probably bigger than what you're going to get at the print shop. Are they giving you like 4x6s when you go and pick them up, or?
I want to say they're like maybe like 3x2, close to a 4x5. I want to say.
Yeah, then you got to scan those.
It's basically the exact same, size as the film that I'm, shooting on, which is really nice.
Yeah.
They do a really good job of cropping out the edges. But I think one thing that I'll do when I start my own darkroom is I'll probably keep the edges in some of the photos just to have that branding on the side. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah, I like that also. There's a bunch of filters that you could get from Adobe stock. Actually you could have, your digital camera and have it look like a Kodak 400 or Fujifilm or some obscure, digital roll technically. I'm gonna film for going back to 35 millimeter. I don't think I'll do it again. Like I said, it has to be something kind of out there. I'm kind of artsy fartsy when it comes to it, to photography and to photos in general. I'm always trying to push the limit of my cameras and trying to, kind of overwork them. If I've gone and done a bunch of astro shots and just have the exposure super long. Trying to get like star trails, looking at the North Star and just kind of like seeing how long I could keep that shutter open and fight off the mosquitoes at the same time. The longest exposure I've done on digital has been about 7 minutes.
Wow.
And that was for rocket photography for the most part. So yeah, my camera is a Nikon D500. It does pretty good. It doesn't overheat as fast. I was shooting with a Nikon D300, and if I did like a 2-minute exposure, since the camera would overheat, causing like some purple hue on the photos. It looks cool if you like that effect, have some purplish bleed through. But I've done almost every subject of photography in the last 20 years or so. And getting really weird with bokeh and double exposures and long exposures. It's just so cool to get that,
Yeah.
Let's see. We got a little bit of time left over. Can you tell me where? I mean, you have like 4 or 5 different accounts on Instagram.
I got a little bit.
Where can people find your photos at?
All my photos, for the most part, it's all gonna be on Crispy Took the Shot. That's where it's gonna be at. And then for photos I don't think will make the cut, those will be on Crispy Archive.
Okay, Crispy Took the Shot and Crispy Archive. You gotta tell me, what's up with Crispy?
Okay, so that developed all the way back during COVID. School had just shut down. All I'm doing is playing video games with my friends and all that stuff. Crispy was like I don't know, it was like a slang word, I guess. Like, oh, that was crispy. This is crispy, stuff like that. Because my friends and I would be playing fours all the time. I'd be taking pictures of that game and stuff like that. And it just kind of stuck, you know? And I had been doing video game photography for years and years. And that's what Sky Blizzard used to be. It used to be just where I'd post video game pictures until I turned it into that. Yeah, Crispy just came from playing video games.
Yeah, right on, dude. Crispy Took the Shot. And your Crispy Archive. You know, I have 4 accounts also. I just started another one called Landside Ops because I want to post all those other photos, you know, that I've taken. It's cool, kind of reminiscing about the different kind of photography I've done over the years, kind of talking to people on the podcast about it. And you know, my page, O Sakaris, it's my name. Oscar is O, you know, Sakaris. Pretty self-explanatory.
Right.
That's aviation based. You know, I work in aviation. I got to take photos of aviation, post it. And then I figured, okay, let me do an archive. Let me do a O Sakaris archive, but I already have one of those. It's not called O Sakaris Archive. It's called, I believe it's Strictly C, and it's all my surf images. It was like 15 years of surf. That was my surf archive. And then I figured, okay, let me do something where I'll start off fresh. I'll post all the items, all the photos I've done. I've done restaurant photos, portraits, long exposures. All that stuff is now going to be on Landside Ops. No aviation on there. So I think you follow me already on that. I should probably post more. I got to, you know, 400,000 photos to kind of go through and figure out which one I want to post. Let me see if I can let me see what my my backup here says. It says 120,000 photos on my Lightroom.
Wow.
And that's for one drive. That's only aviation. It's not including restaurants and all that other stuff.
Right.
And then my current drive right now, since 2022, I got 50,000 photos. You know, once again, all aviation. So now I got to import all this other landside stuff. So it'll be a work in progress, but I'm definitely going to be putting some cool shots up on there. And I'll probably put some more like old school video that I shot. You know, I did a lot of time lapse back in the day. Before time lapse was like in every commercial, you know, so
yeah.
I'll do some of that and put some corporate shots on there too. So yeah, I'll be posting on there a little bit more often.
Nice.
But all right, Marcus, we're at the end here. I know you got in late, but I started on time, so unfortunately we got to end it. But it's okay, man. Sometimes it happens, you know.
Yeah.
I appreciate you coming on, sharing your knowledge. And,
yeah, thank you for having me.
Definitely gonna have to get you on another episode here in the future.
That'd be awesome. Yeah.
All right, man. All right, everyone. Thanks for joining another episode of the Spotters Podcast, and we'll see you in 2 weeks for the next guest.
See ya.
Good night, everyone.